yourself. Open your eyes and know for yourself. Open your eyes and see for yourself. Open your eyes and know for yourself.
Our people need to see the light. Turn it up right. He will fight for the people every day. Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. Will fight for the people every day. Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. Say from him slip up all eyes on him. I defend the people, them said spice on him. Even politicians spread lies on him. But we know the bugger them not wise like him. Back up, them not no ties on him. Them know say that the people rely on him. You know said them bring out them cries through him. That's why all the people them respect him. Just like Selassie and Marcus Garvey. Rock you all the order of the Trinity. A real strong soldier in a army. No simpleton can disarm you. We'll fight for the people every day. Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. We'll fight for the people every day. Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. Our people for food. Now build no houses, them now build no school. Think them up the handle, but the most I rule. Them better stop criticizing. Cause what them I do now phase him. You know the man no lazy. All them I talk, them are the one right crazy. We'll fight for the people every day. Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. We'll fight for the people every day. Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. Say from him step up all eyes on him. I defend the people, them set spice on him. Even politicians spread lies on him. But we know the bugger them not wise like him. Back up, them not no ties on him. Them know said that the people rely on him. You know said them bring out them cries through him. That's why all the people them respect him. Just like Selassie and Marcus Garvey. The man hold the harder of the Trinity. A real strong soldier in a army. No simpleton can disarm you. Them fight for the people every day. Risk them life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. Them fight for the people every day. Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. Them fight for the people every day. Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him. Most High Jah, guide us now, yeah. Our people need to see the light. Turn it up right. He will fight for the people every day. Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. We'll fight for the people every day. Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. Say from him slip up all eyes on him. I defend the people, them said spice on him. Even politicians spread lies on him. But we know the bugger them not wise like him. Back up, them not no ties on him. Them know say that the people rely on him. You know say them bring out them Christ through him. That's why all the people them respect him. Just like Selassie and Marcus Garvey, rock you all the order of the Trinity. A real strong soldier in a army. No simpleton can disarm we. Well fight for the people every day. Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. Well fight for the people every day. Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. How long them a gonna know say that them fire can't cool? How long them a gonna take our people for fool? Nah build no houses, them nah build no school. Think them up the handle but the most I rule. Them better stop criticizing. Cause what them a do now phase him. You know the man no lazy. All them a talk, them a the one way crazy. We'll fight for the people every day. Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. We'll fight for the people every day. Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. Say from him step up all eyes on him. I defend the people them set spice on him. Even politicians spread lies on him. But we know the bugger them not wise like him. Back up, them nah no ties on him. Them know say that the people rely on him. You know said them bring out them Christ through him. That's why all the people them respect him. Just like Selassie and Marcus Garvey, the man hold the order of the Trinity. A real strong soldier in a army. No simpleton can disarm you. Them fight for the people every day. Risk them life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. Them fight for the people every day. Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. Them fight for the people every day. Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. Most High Jah, guide us now, yeah. Our people need to see the light. Turn it up right. He will fight for the people every day. Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. We'll fight for the people every day. Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. Say from him step up all eyes on him. I defend the people them set spice on him. Even politicians spread lies on him. But we know the bugger them not wise like him. Back up, them nah no ties on him.
Bless up. Good evening, one and all. Good evening, one and all. Welcome. All right, I'm sure you can hear me now. Give me a shout out if you can hear me, my people. Give me a shout out. Okay, outstanding. All right, people, listen. Let me start off by thanking all of you for being here, because it's a choice you made. You could be anywhere else doing something else, anything else, but you've chosen to be here, and we are going to make sure that it's worth your time. University will say, yes, indeed. And by the way, just so you know, the politicians in Jamaica watch the university, because them call me and talk to me and say, boy, we see how going with things. Politicians on both sides and in the middle. We don't have any party in the middle in parliament, but you know it go. We have a whole bunch of third parties. Some of them most of them struggling, but they reach out to me and say, why, things are going. So anyway, hey, look who in at the top, in the front of the class, OT. Look there, OMG, Norman Montague, Laps Coachy. By the way, people, some of you have reached out to me asking me for Laps Coach's number. Laps Coachy said, if you have his number, it's the people who have his number, them can call him. People who don't have his number, then them shouldn't have his number. I don't know how to interpret that, but that's the message I got. But anyway, big up yourself, Laps Coachy, on the front row. Ilian Turner, big up yourself. Miss E, big up yourself, big up yourself. Thank you for all that you do. Dorrit, yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. You know it, go? University we say. Thank you for being here. Please have your writing equipment ready. Should you miss out, please don't forget to rewatch your videos. Thank you very much for putting that message up, Elaine. That's a very important message. And of course, a disclaimer, the views, comments are that of the viewers, guests, or channel subscribers, not necessarily those of platform host nor co-host. There you go. Thank you. Jules Master Songwriter. Greetings, greetings. Kevin a watch, so Kevin see your greeting. ACLB, bless up, bless up, bless up. Kevin see your greeting as well. And people, you know, say on a Wednesday, we have to do this, you know, because Saturday it's so busy, but we have to recognize the people and acknowledge the people who support the thing, right? So Shana Young, fearless leader, me that. Yes, man. Yes, man. Barbara Giwa, bless up yourself, Barbara. LW2, greetings, greetings. Thanks for the appearance. Mega. So Brooklyn is safe, people. East New York. East Flatbush, Wells, Bushwick, Bed-Stuy, Canarsie, everywhere nice because Monday. Big up yourself, Mega. Elmira Smith, blessings. Thanks for being here. Marie Lizzie, bless up yourself, bless up yourself. And let me just say, all of you who have contributed and some of you who saw some contributions today, we just want to tell you thank you, thank you, thank you. Karen Anderson, big up yourself, Karen. Where did big up yourself, big up the infamous Sonia Smith. Greetings, 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 Sonia. Ludwig, 985, bless up, Ludwig. Crimson, one rat upon the app. You know the thing, see there? Merle, my girl, say happy Wednesday to all, happy independence. Yes, indeed, yes, indeed. There'll be a hot on the floor tonight, yeah. Merle, you know who we are going to focus on tonight, Merle, you know. Richard Morrison, big up yourself, big up yourself. Kevin is watching, so he has seen your greeting as well as the other team members. I like cats, yes. With the holy pious half-tight sealed. Big up yourself, up, way up there. Crimson 13, so loud and clear. Oh, you can't hear the voice. Good. Marie Lizzie, shout out loud and clear. That's right there, Sonia, yeah? Inner circle. Big up yourself, Inner circle. Me see your trunk gone up. See him so. Queen Carl, loud and clear. Big up yourself, big up yourself. Hey, look who they are. Look who they are, people. The one and only, Prezi. Big up yourself, Prezi. Why? Prezi, me just want you know how whole heap of people are asking for you. And I ask them for your number. And you have to just tell them, say, which is the truth, that you're extremely busy. You have your hands in a lot of projects right now. But we need to talk, my brother. We need to talk. Thank you for joining us tonight. I hope you can stay with us for the whole of the program. But if you cannot, we understand because you're a busy man. But thank you for taking the time out to join us now. Margaret Fearon, all the way from the UK. 6 hours ahead, so that means 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 2:16, 16 minutes past 2. Margaret, thank you for staying up. Thank you for the support. Thank you. Joan Allen, big up yourself, Joan. Norris Smith, yes, we have to keep it burning. Thank you so much. Thank you. Coley Empire. Mount Vernon in the place, people. Don't forget when you chime in, just Make we know which part of it so we can big up the place. Sonia from Bronx, my place that. Yes. Well, no, see my place. No, New Lots. My place is Alabama Avenue, New Lots Avenue, Georgia Avenue. My place that. My place that. Pennsylvania Avenue. All right, Edmund McCoy. Thank you for joining us. Marie Lizzie, yeah, university is very intense with teaching and learning. Yes, 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 yes. And tonight will be no different. Ekron Sound System, big up yourself. Bless up, bless up, bless up, bless up. Pauline Gill, blessings. Pauline, thanks for joining us. That's it, OT. Joan Bailey, blessings, blessings, blessings. Barry Mace, yes, sir. Big up, thank you, thank you. I guess OT will put up, that's it. DATS. Yes, OT? Oh, Ducky Elijah from Connecticut. Which part of Connecticut, Ducky? I might place that too, you know. Let me know which part of Connecticut. Keep it going, OT. Michael Morrison, the Magnitsky. Michael, we have to talk about that. It's a good question. It's upon the back burner, but for a very good reason. For a very good reason. Beyond the fact that we haven't gotten a whole, the signatures, but it's there for a good reason. And raise the question again with me, maybe Saturday, Michael, and then I will probably shed some light on what's going on. But thank you for raising that. Thank you. And thank you for being here. That's it. Simmons Q there. All right, OT, thank you very much. Want to say big up OT, big up Joan, big up Kevin, big up, when I call the name, all of the people who are help with to put things together. Let me just say that we're working on a story right now, a very, very significant story. The story has to do with, believe it or not, people, it has to do with SSL. It has to do with some other companies in Jamaica. It has to do with a foreign country. It has to do with lots of money disappearing. It has to do with a lot of people questioning transactions. And we're connecting the dots right now. I can't say much more than that. I really want to whet your appetite, and I want to whet it more than I'm doing right now, but I can't go beyond that, except to say the angle we're looking at it from, I don't think anybody has ever looked at it from that angle. You're going to find it quite interesting. Right now, it's mind-blowing for me right now. And we're assembling the facts, because as you know, when we come, we're going to put things up. We're not going to just come and assume things or insinuate certain things. We're going to come with our facts. But it's an interesting puzzle to see how some of the same people are involved in different things in different countries, starting with Jamaica. Just trust me, when you see the presentation, you are going to be shocked. But that's what we do around here. We don't do it for shock value. We just shock you with facts. Because one of the things that we want you to do when you come here is to walk away saying, now I know. We don't want you to walk away saying, me did hear say, That's not our task. That's not our mandate. That is not our policy. We want you to walk away saying, no, me no. Because when you walk away with that knowledge and you start engaging other people who will come to you with, me did hear say, then you can correct them decently. no shouting and no carrying. But you can say, no, but did you look at this? Did you look at that? So that's where we are. So there's a connection there to SSL that we want to talk about, and we're going to be talking about it. I'm looking to finish up the whole project by not this Saturday, by the following week, but it may take longer because there's so many moving parts to it. Lots of moving parts. Lots of players. Oh, this one here. All right. No, as a result of that commercial, well, that's a commercial. As a result of that clip and the hard work we've put in around here, the buses have become known to many people as dollar bus. Dollar bus. For a very good reason. The only reason why I play that, we're not going to do anything on the bus tonight. The only reason why I play that is to let you know that the Auditor General is supposed to be coming out with her report, her audit of the rural school bus program, this iteration, this version of it, because it's not the first version of the rural school bus program. Let that be clear. But the one that started last year, 2025, because there were others before that. But this one, she's going to be coming out with her report, I think before the end of next month, before the end of September. And we are just waiting to see that report. We have some more things around here now regarding the buses, but we're going to wait. We don't want to preempt the Auditor General. We're going to wait to see what she's going to come with. So stay tuned for that. The Auditor General is also supposed to come out with a report by the end of September concerning a drill, a neurosurgical drill. We don't think it's a drill that the one before, because she did that already. There's another one. We're waiting to see the results of her audit. And then this Saturday, we're going to be doing a part of a story that we completed months ago. We completed this, I think, late last year. Late last year. It has to do with OTPEM. There's so much about, regarding that story. So much. But we're going to, there's a proverb. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So how do you address this massive story? One segment at a time. It's difficult to do OTPEM in its entirety and look at the personnel, look at the mandate, look at the administrative aspects of it, look at the implementation aspects of it. It's very difficult and people are going to get lost. So we are going to look at it bit by bit. And when we're finished, I'm sure, believe me, you'll get the whole picture. We're also going to be looking this Saturday at the website issue, that website that collected money for Melissa, that's owned by a naturalized citizen of Jamaica from India. We're going to be looking at that because there is so much more to that story that just hasn't been told. And we feel that it's our obligation to expose the whole thing to the Jamaican people, not just the headlines. And this Saturday, we're going to start with the Integrity Commission, the initiative, and we're going to call it, we haven't decided yet, but it's going to be something about the beginning, before the beginning. And if it sounds confusing to you, it won't be this Saturday. Because before, there was an integrity commission established in 2017, 2018. There was an integrity commission before the one that you see submitting reports to Parliament. There was one before that. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to go way back, and we're going to give you the history. It's going to be brief, but you'll be able to follow and understand how we got to this position. So we're going to talk about that, and then we'll take it up. We'll start with the historical part of it with the three agencies, and then we'll probably, hopefully, we'll get to 2017 when they started discussing it in Parliament just before passing the bill. We're going to get to that. And believe me, people, it's an interesting read. I'm reading so much because I want to educate myself about this entity, and I want you to benefit from the effort I'm putting into it. And I'm going to do my level best to make sure that there are no mistakes, that everything we put up, we can point to something and say, here. So if somebody wants to argue with it, they have to go argue with the facts, but not with us. And so I'm learning a lot about what Jamaica was like before 2017, 2018 in terms of addressing corruption issues. And it's a checkered history. There is so much. People want to have to tune in Saturday. I am so excited. Believe me, I am so excited because I just love this topic. I love all the topics. Love the bus topic, the drill, Oh, by the way, let me come off of the Integrity Commission one and tell you that we're working on another story. We've done things on water in Jamaica. Precious resource. We're working on another story to that. We're connecting some dots to that as well. And I'm telling you, you are going to be... Okay, Mega say I'm going to have to replay the show Sunday because I'll be attending the Jamaica Rising Day Parade in Brooklyn. Okay, all right, no problem. We understand that lots of you will be going, and we encourage you to go. We really do. You can always watch the program, the Saturday program. You can watch it the day after, sometime the following week. But we encourage you to go out and support the Jamaica Rising Day Parade in Brooklyn. And in fact, we do have the gentleman behind it, Dr. Bill Tinling. He will join us tonight, thinking about a half hour or so. So that's what we have going on. Now, here is what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about the Jamaica, the parade for this Saturday in Brooklyn. And it's important. But I want to spend the time talking to you about this TCN. I thought we would be over and done with it, but the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, the Honorable Kamina Johnson-Smith, she spoke last week about the issue. And I thought she was going to make it clear. But instead, it got convoluted in the sense that she didn't fully explain all the things. And what they did, they said some things. And if you're not paying attention, if you're not listening to them keenly, you will miss what they're saying. You will miss what they're saying. But I don't want to tell you what she said. I want you to listen to what she said, and then we'll talk about it. All right? And Minister Audrey Marks, it's shameful. Shameful, her performance. Shameful. frankly speaking, disgraceful. She had no business being on that stage talking about this issue. And I believe for that reason, she's been silenced. She's been silenced. Now, you know what she reminds me of? She reminds me of, like, you know, when you have some I don't know, some bad picnic or something, and you have guests come over and you don't want them to see them, and you just put them on, you put them on the back or you lock them up, you don't want your guests them see certain things. It's the same thing. I think they've kind of like just pushed her to the back because I'm like, no, we can't have her come out and face the guests. Guests meaning the Jamaican people, because she's just terrible at trying to explain this thing. And it's abundantly clear that what they're telling us is simply untenable. At best, at worst, pure, unadulterated lies. At worst. And that's why we have the thing saying that the promo. Wait a second, OT. The promo say, oh, hey, big up yourself, Kean. Big up. Big up yourself. That's why we have the thumbnail saying Holness, Chang, Marks, and Johnson Smith don't add up to one. And it's true, because the stories are all over the place. All over the place. And then when you listen to them carefully, and I have, around here, we've listened to them constantly. We've gone over and over the presentations they've made. And it's just, it cannot add up. Einstein can't help them with that one. Yeah. Not even Einstein can. It just not add up. It cannot add up. So here's what we are going to do. Mega said that Jamaica will get up to 10,000 TCNs. Yes, and maybe even more. Maybe even more. And the Prime Minister is saying one thing. I'm going to play you a video where the Prime Minister said, he said that he said what Minister Mark said can't happen, cannot happen. Why? Because he said, we have to take care of the unemployed people in Jamaica, the 50,000 unemployed people in Jamaica, plus those who are outside the workforce, plus those who are underemployed. We have to take care of them first before we start importing labor. The Prime Minister said that, and he said the proposal that Minister Marks made, essentially, he rubbished it. He rubbished it. And then also, people, there's some confusion. There is a fair amount of confusion. And here's the confusion. The confusion is between a dip note and an MOU. And they're used interchangeably. So you when you hear dip note, you're thinking, well, it's MOU. And when you hear MOU, you're thinking it's a dip note. And they're two different things. They're two different things. The MOU can be part of a dip note, you know. But the dip note can't be part of the MOU. It doesn't work that way. The MOU is a non-binding agreement between countries. It's a discussion people have, government officials, and they say, we would like to do this, blah, 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 blah. But before you have the MOU, you have discussions. The MOU memorializes the discussion. Meaning, you talk first and then you commit it on to paper. You put it on paper. But it is not binding. So you'll have a discussion about oil, for example. And then you say, okay, you know, we're willing to come to Jamaica and we're willing to drill and we're doing this. And then Jamaica's government will say, okay, and when you drill, we get this and we get that. And those are just, they're not specific terms. They're just generalities. And they put that on it. And that's how you get the ball rolling. You start with the verbal engagement, followed by the MOU. And then now you start talking about more serious things where now you have an agreement. So that's it. That's an MOU. A dip note is different, right? An MOU, you may or may not see one, depending on the classification, people. Depending on the classification. Because some of them are sensitive. And in order for them to be released, it means one party must contact the other party and say, do you mind if we release this to the media or whomever? But you can't release it unilaterally. You on your own. It's a violation of diplomatic rules for you to take a dip note that you're working with another government and then you just share it with anybody. You have to go to the government that you're working with and say, listen, do you mind if we share this with our people? And they may say, yes, provided you take this, that, and that out of it. Or they may say, yeah, you can go ahead and share. Or they may say, no. No, a diplomatic note is something completely different. A diplomatic note is the routine way in which governments conduct business. An MOU, you may have, I don't know, maybe 4 MOUs a year. An MOU is not a regular feature in the diplomatic world. I mean, yes, it's there, but it's not something where every week you get a MOU. No. A diplomatic note is different. No, diplomatic note, they come and they go day in, day out, back and forth. And that contains official communication between governments. That you're not supposed to say. A dip note, you're not supposed to say a dip note. It's that simple. You're not supposed to say a dip note. Now, I've seen some dip notes that they're not really classified because it could be like an announcement. And I've seen plenty of those. An announcement saying that somebody is coming to work at the embassy in a particular capacity. And then they put the person's name, date of birth, who the person is going to be, who's going to accompany the person, what family, when the person is coming, how long the person is supposed to be there, all that stuff. That you can redact some of that information and then pass it. But the thing is, they normally wouldn't do that. They normally don't do that because the Jamaica media, they don't really care who come and who go. No. But just to make it simple for you people, diplomatic notes are exchanged almost daily. Almost daily. There's a diplomatic note going from the agriculture section to the ministry, to the agriculture section of the U.S. Embassy to Foreign Affairs and to Ministry of Agriculture or National Security or health. You know, those things, they're routine. Almost daily you will find a dip note. That's how they correspond. MOU, you may see one now and you may not see one for a while because MOU is a project that they're working on and they're saying, let's just talk about it and get the ball rolling. So you probably, a dip note is not something that you see every day. Sorry, MOU is not something you see every day. but a dip note you see every day. Now, here's the problem. When we hear the Jamaican officials talking, it sounds sometimes as if they want you to believe that the dip note is the MOU and the MOU is the dip note. And if you recall, the Gleaner claimed that they were in receipt of what? MOU, not dip note. Not a dip note. So on Saturday, I think I'll just go over this and just put up the chart so you can see the difference. For those of you who don't understand the difference, and I'm not making it clear to you, on Saturday, trust me, it will be crystal clear. You'll understand the difference. That's the first thing we need to do. We need to understand terms of reference, right? And one of them, MOU, dip note, and what they can contain and what they don't contain, and how they move back and forth. We'll talk about that. But that's the first thing. So now I want to play some videos for you from, say OT just put it up there, but we'll put it up again Saturday. This lady here, oh, see the video, yeah? Oh, yeah. Way down, credibility gone. No, let's play this. Let's jump right into it. Well, a series of videos from the foreign minister from her appearance at the post-cabinet briefing last week. And we're going to play them for you. It is the first time that she's come out and publicly, in a forum like this, talk about the TCN program, talk about the MOU, all of this stuff. It's the first time. And the thing is, she's been quiet for quite some time. She should have remained quiet. Here we go.
Commend you, Dana, on the fantastic job you've been doing in making sure that you have well-organized, regular briefings of the public on our on developments in cabinet, as well as across the government space, because sharing information is so important, not only in a world where misinformation thrives, but just for general understanding and constant updating, because we are in an era where information is what people crave. I am sorry to advise that this morning I have 1,000 pages of information to share with you. It has been a while since I've presented, and therefore we have a lot of information to share. I hope you'll find it interesting.
Oh, I say, Mega asked, what is the white paper? The white paper is basically just ideas that people put on put on a piece of paper, and it goes around, and it is what it is. It is to what the term them use. It's thought-provoking. That's what it's supposed to be. They put out some stuff. It doesn't have the force of a regulation or a law. It's just something that, some ideas that they put on paper, and then it goes around. And then people add, subtract, whatever they want to do with it until it gets to a point where it becomes like, it might become nothing. It might be something that people look at as an idea and then it's trashed, or it's something that takes on a different form. And the next thing you know, it's a regulation or it's a bill. So that's the white paper.
I give you the assurance that it is not all that I have to share. I have tried to cut it down with the help of my team. But the work that we do is so multifaceted, and it's so connected to things which are seen and unseen and not even understood. But it impacts lives directly and indirectly, not only in Jamaica, but globally. And it therefore is very difficult to condense. But I want to try to share some things with you which you may find interesting and relevant to the world as you know it.
All right, that's the first one. Right away, you can see the difference between the foreign minister and the minister of efficiency, efficiency, innovation, and digital transformation. You can see the stark difference between them. Big difference between them. The foreign minister, is more polished in her delivery. But I want you to listen, because essentially you're going to hear them talking about the same thing. And when you stop and you put the pretty talk aside and say, okay, what was said? Just think critically, what was said, you're going to end up at the same place. You're going to end up at the same place. It's just that one of them speaks in a direct, her tone is mellifluous. She exudes confidence, and the other one, she a buck shuffle. The other one have no clue what's going on. Sit down with paper in front of her, like, all right. Here's the second one.
On the 16th of July, at the invitation of the United States, I participated in a ministerial meeting convened by Secretary Rubio and the State Department.
Let me just put some clarity to this. Minister Marks had been attending all of these meetings, going back to last year. I remember we were asking, where is the foreign minister? And then all of a sudden, Minister Marks trip over our own leg. To fall down flat on our face. And so what happened now is we see where now the foreign minister is attending these conferences, these meetings. But at the same time, she's not the right person to be there. You know who should be there? The Minister of National Security and Peace. And if he's not able, you know who should be there? The junior minister, Minister Cuthbert Flynn. But if you notice, she doesn't attend any of these meetings. Why? Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. She doesn't have it. She can't go to these meetings and hold a conversation with these people. It will be a massive disgrace. She doesn't have it here. She doesn't have it. Let's just be truthful, right? We're a family and we can talk. She is one of them where you put her in the back room, you don't make nobody see her. You hide her. You don't put her out on the stage. No, big mistake. Big mistake.
On the evolving phenomenon of political motivated violence and terrorism, which is not only a U.S. issue but held in other countries. In my intervention, I noted that while ours, that is Jamaica's domestic terrorism threat, is assessed as low, transnational organized crime, illicit firearms trafficking, cyber-enabled crime, money laundering, terrorist financing, and disinformation increasingly blur the line between organized crime and ideologically motivated violence, and more particularly blur the line in terms of how they are fought. Terrorists and sophisticated criminals use the same kinds of networks and mechanisms. So as a highly connected island state, Jamaica can be affected by these threats even where we are not a primary target. So we use the opportunity to reaffirm our support for practical cooperation to identify, prevent, and disrupt terrorism while preserving the principles of sovereignty, international law, democratic governance, and mutual respect. And we also noted that countries of differing levels of development and response capacity must.
You see the language. You see how it sounds pretty, and it just a flow. Ask her, what does it mean? Let's ask her. What does it mean? Or better yet, you ask her, what does it look like in the Jamaica setting? Tell us, what does it look like in Jamaica? What does it mean for Jamaica? Can't answer. Because what happened is she's regurgitating what was said at the conference. She can't think about these issues because she doesn't have the training. She doesn't have the training. So when you ask her, when she mentioned all of these things about transnational organized crime and terrorism and all that, and you dig deep, she drown. She cannot go out there with that deep water that. But when standing there, she can just regurgitate and blah, 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 because guess what? No one is asking the right questions. No one. And believe me, I don't think that they're not asking because some of them don't know. I would never be so condescending as to think that Jamaicans in that space, the journalistic space, that they don't know some of the questions to ask. I'd never say that. What I'd say is that they're not asking the questions. They're not asking the questions. And they make them get away with all of them pretty language.
Be considered by agencies as they determine policy and strategy on these areas. The voluntary national review of Jamaica on our sustainable development goals. I know Dana is not going to invite me back again.
We'll move that and put this one up there.
On the 16th of July, at the invitation of the United States, I participated in a ministerial meeting convened by Secretary Rubio on the state trafficking, cyber-enabled internet.
Good morning.
Look on a woman face, man. Wait there. She don't look happy at all.
Jamaica.
All right, she said the questions are for Minister Johnson Smith. Do you want to say it? I can hear it. I can repeat it. Okay, a new mic is coming.
Hello, yes. Okay, Zara Burden, 18 degrees north. Many questions for Camilla Johnson-Smith.
Can you just read out the questions and then we'll try to take them together?
And also for you, Minister.
Okay, sure.
The set of questions also impact Minister Grange. So this first question has been regarding a text message that I received from just a friend of mine who used to be a journalist over in the Philippines. And he made a mention that, paraphrasing, is it that the government is misusing funds that were raised for Melissa, given that I'm hearing that a private entity was the one that owned the supportjamaica.gov site. Now, that has been in the news recently, just regarding Amber, and also regarding the information that went out to the diaspora, whether or not, why weren't the diaspora and other people who donated on that site locally told that this was a site not owned by the government of Jamaica? So that's one. Two, Minister Grange, in 2020 with the COVID-19 telethon, again, you raised funds, made a lot of assurances to the public about the funds not reaching into the consolidated fund, that it would go through charities, and it ended up that they ended up at the NHF, those funds, and you've never really fully accounted for those funds and how they were used, given the lack of trust that people have, especially in the diaspora, for donating funds to Jamaica. What is the plan to restore confidence, and will you give a full accounting of what happened with those COVID-19 telethon funds? Also for Minister Johnson-Smith, I said I had many. There is a report I saw online, I don't know if it's true or not, I just wanted to verify whether there was anything that you had gotten that could come to your attention about any Jamaicans being victims in this U.S. war on drugs, with the boats being blown up in the Caribbean Sea. If yes, could you tell us a little bit about that? If no, that's okay. Also, in terms of the International Maritime Organization, in October of 2025, just before Hurricane Melissa hit as a Category 5, Jamaica had voted in favor of delaying a push to limit emissions from ships. I wanted to find out, why did we vote yes to delay that, given our vulnerability to climate change? On the TCNs, you mentioned about no 10,000 persons coming last week, or last time we had post-cabinet, I asked a question about what was the American response to the proposal by Minister Marks regarding the 10,000 skilled workers that you as a government were hoping to get from the people who were from foreign countries living in America. I wanted to understand what was the American response. I did not get a response. What I got was that it wasn't discussed at the cabinet level. I'm interested in finding out what was the American response to that proposal since it preceded this January overture from the United States government. Was it a precursor? Was that the response?
All right, Zara, the other media persons need to ask some questions, so can you wrap up with your questions so we can also take their questions too?
MOU for the TCNs, it was supposed to be made public. Where is it? Has Jamaica approached the government in the United States? I've brought this up to Minister Marks before as an ambassador when she was there regarding social security contributions by persons that are now in Jamaica but used to contribute to that system, whether or not those funds can be repatriated to Jamaica. Lastly, for Minister Morris Dixon, with the PEP announcements, why was the top primary school person being, let us say, the big news rather than at first just the top overall performer being announced as a prep school winner in the original announcements of top performing primary level students in PEP? Also, you mentioned in the last or previous press conference in March that PATH was not being used up. Well, I had asked you why isn't PATH being used up based on the budget numbers I'd seen. Each year you'd mentioned that it is based on students being in school, and some of them are not, I presume, not in school because they're underspending PATH funds in your ministry. I wanted to know what initiative exists to get students back in school in a more, not just from the hurricane, but in a more dedicated way, reaching out to schools and students and parents. What mechanism exists to get students back into school? So those are, and then the last thing is announcement of contracts. I was noticing that even though you guys mention a lot of different contracts from time to time, we don't get the stream of mention of contracts coming out of these cabinet decisions when it comes to post-cabinet as much as we used to. So I was just wondering about the frequency of those announcements.
All right, thank you. That's a whole lot of questions. Let me just I'll take the other questions from the other media so we can just get the ministers up and just answering as many as they can. And remember that they are available after.
Well, see Zara start out. Zara getting 9 questions. And they're not happy. I can tell you, Minister Dina Morris Dixon, you could see her face when Zara stood up. Not happy because she could see it coming a mile away. Let's continue.
All right, thank you. All right, so ministers, if you can come up, let's get through these questions. I will give one note though on Support Jamaica. And I know yesterday the head of ODPEM would have been giving updates, but what I do know is that in the disaster risk management structure, there is a finance committee that must approve any spend coming from any money that has been donated. In addition to that, all of the funds that would have been received through Support Jamaica, they go directly to ODPEM accounts. There is no intermediary accounts. They are going to ODPEM accounts. When you go on the website, you see ODPEM's account.
That is not true. That is not true. I hope we'll get to it or we can show you where, when you go to the website, there's a financial institution involved there. When you go to the Support Jamaica website, and it turned out that the financial institution involved in this arrangement was Lasco Financial Services. And that's where the whole thing got murky. ODPEM, they have their own account that you could deposit directly. But when you go through the website, Lasco Foundation, they process all of this stuff and They take a fee. Plus, what they were doing, they were holding for chargebacks. And those of you who have credit cards, you know what chargeback is. They said they were holding 30% of all the monies collected for chargebacks. And they were supposed to do it for 45 days. They're going to hold it because they said sometimes people use a credit card and the credit card is not good, or people change their mind and want back their money. And so we're keeping 30%. Well, I have a dear friend of mine who's involved in the finance industry, and I was told it's nonsense. Nonsense. Plus, there was no formal agreement. There was a formal agreement for LASCO to process donations, but there was no formal agreement, written agreement, for them to hold on to 30% of the funds for 40 or 45 days. Think about it. Why would you have an agreement? This person is going to process everything, and then you have an informal agreement, a handshake agreement, that they're going to hold on to 30% of the money, and they collected more than $1 million and a whole heap of Jamaican dollars. Plus, you know what we found out, and we're going to talk about it this Saturday. Found out that they kept, LASCO in one instance, kept the money for 80-something days after the 40 or 45 days expired. They kept it and nobody said a word. And I've been talking to people in the financial industry, and they're saying, whenever you see that, whenever you see, not saying that it happened in this case with LASCO, but whenever you see something like that, they hold on to people money, that amount of money, they might turn it. They might turn it. Some quick investment, stock market, this, that, they might turn it and I make some money. And I just hope that somebody's going to look into this. Somebody needs to look at LASCO's accounts to see when this money came in, where did this money go? Did they keep it in an account and it just sat there for 120 days? Or did the money go somewhere else for that period of time? There's a lot more than what I'm telling you. But so she's wrong when she said the money went only to ADPEM. That's not true.
And so there is an oversight mechanism for the money. Once the money comes in, there is a mechanism to approve the spend. The committee has to approve that spend. That committee is in place. I know yesterday in PAAC, ADPEM would have given extensive answers there, so I will not go any further into that. In terms of, I'm going through the ones I got.
Move that.
I'll read another set of questions that we got online. I will just give them to you, Minister Johnson Smith. There's a question about 2 Jamaicans. These are from Jamelia, who's usually here. Can the ministry speak to the status of 2 Jamaicans who were deported to St. Kitts Nevis? Also, there was one about Eswatini, which I think you answered before. If they're asking if there are any similarities in the situations, and they're asking also if the U.S. government doesn't notify us if a Jamaican citizen goes elsewhere, like Eswatini.
Okay, so I'm going to do my best, and you can let me know.
Afterwards,
right?
Yeah, we'll do that
okay.
after. Yeah.
I think the first one that I was able to note was the question about any reports of Jamaican victims in the bombing, I think you called it, of go-fast boats with alleged drug traffickers in international waters close to the Caribbean. And I think I can safely say that we have no reports of any Jamaicans being involved in those incidents. I think I got a question about a vote. I believe your reference was to the International Maritime Organization arrangement, but it's what we refer to as the net zero framework. I don't know that your timeline is on point. I recall that up to last year, we had been part of the discussions regarding a delay in the vote because it was clear that there was going to be no agreement, and our view was that it was more important to preserve the discussions than to have the entire framework fall apart. And it was clear that there was no consensus and no certainty as to result. If there was a vote pre-COVID or just after COVID, then it means that the procedural circumstances would have been even less mature. So I would have to check that. Oh, pre-Melissa. Well, there you go. Okay, so it would have been the same circumstance I recall then. The vote was not going to secure the arrangement. Countries were divided across all regions. And as a builder of cohesion and
Look, people, you see, she has struggled. This is something that she should know. She's a Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. This is something that should be briefed up to her. And listen, Jamaica now have a whole bunch of foreign affairs issues. She doesn't know. But she can't come out and say, listen, I'm not familiar with the issue. This should be the honest answer. That issue came up and it fell off the radar. And I'm not sure where we are with it, but I will certainly look into it and I will provide you with an answer the next post-cap briefing. Next question, I'll move on. But shall try answer the question and she don't know the answer. My goodness.
Country that has been working towards ensuring that climate transitions are reasoned and sustainable. Our position was that it would be better to have a delay so that discussions could continue to preserve overall substance as the circumstances currently are.
You see, I'm telling you about, just saying words, like they just flow like a string of pearls. But when you parse them, when you just take them apart and then you look at the question and say, did she answer the question? The answer is no. But she's saying, oh, we're ensuring and we do this and zero emissions and this and that. And you are here, no, you're not paying attention to what was asked. You're paying attention to what she's saying. And so you just get enthralled by the constant flow of beautiful words without much hesitation. And then when you stop and you think, you say, but she not said nothing. She not said nothing. She not answered the question. But you know, my people, you know, because you're critical thinkers around here.
I think the matter comes up again September this year. On the matter of whether, and Dana, I'm going to ask you to help me here. You were asking whether Minister Mark's proposal was a precursor or was a result of, was not following.
No, I think I got the question. What was America's response?
How could you, as the foreign minister, come to do a presentation and you were told that questions would be asked? And you're in the room, and then you say, I wasn't following. That's insulting. That now you have to turn to Minister Dana Morris-Dixon and ask her, what was that question again? I mean, I have the questions written here, 9 questions she asked. Not all 9 of them addressed to the foreign minister. For the foreign minister, the questions, think about this. The Melissa website question was answered by Dana Morris-Dixon. And, she fumbled there. Then she asked about the Jamaican fishermen, the operation the U.S. government has in the Caribbean Sea, and I think they have it on the Pacific and the Atlantic Ocean as well. But fishermen being blown up, that's one. Then they ask about emissions from the ships regarding climate change. Then she asked about the TCN, the American response. Then she asked about the MOU, when is it going to be made public? Those are the questions that she asked her, because the other questions, they relate to something else: Social Security, the PEP announcement, and the contracts that Zara was saying she noticed that they weren't announcing them as they previously did at the post-cabinet briefing. And three questions, and she said I wasn't following.
This was the question. So, yeah, she was asking if America had responded to Minister Marx's proposal, the 10,000 proposal. But my understanding, you can go ahead.
I think the more fundamental point is that it was not an agreement. It was a misunderstanding. It was a conflation of circumstances, which we clarified.
People, if you haven't been paying attention thus far, please pay attention to this response. But don't pay attention to this response in a vacuum, meaning that you're just listening to what she's saying as if you've never heard this story before. I want you to listen to it and juxtapose it, connect it. Try and make it make sense. 2, information provided by the Prime Minister, by Dana Morris Dixon, by Minister Chang, by Minister Marks. And we know that Minister Purnell Charles, we're not hearing nothing from him. You're going to hear from him. We have a video of him too, but you're going to hear from him. But just keep in mind, just try and hearken back to everything you've heard from them, not from somebody that tell us that this is what them said. You know, you've heard it on the media. You've heard what they've said. Keep that in mind and listen to the response now. Listen to this response. And tell me what you think.
It was a conflation of circumstances, which we clarified. Yes.
Conflation of circumstances, which we clarified. We clarified. No. No, Minister. No, you've made it worse. Has not been clarified. And you're going to step into it even deeper now. Here we go.
Yes. 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 There was an interest in discussing it, but it's not a matter that's live before us at all and has not been for some time.
No, but I want to know if Minister Marks proposed it, what was the American response?
They said they were interested, but we have not taken it forward, and this much water has flown under the bridge since then.
Okay, and is this TCN program in response to that proposal?
No.
Okay.
No.
Completely separate.
Completely and 100% separate. 100%. I think it has been said before, but I'm happy to say it again.
That is not true, Minister. When you say it's 100% separate, oh, wait there. I want my TCN thing there. Hold on there. You see, people, I don't know if they're confusing themselves, or they're trying to confuse us, or they have been confused by the U.S. government. Or they just allow themselves to be confused. Because the TCN, I remember Minister Marks, what did she do? She came and she sat and she grinned and she said, well, I Googled the meaning of TCN, and it means that you're leaving a country that you're not a citizen of, and you're going to a country that you're not a citizen of. She did not Google and obtain the definition of the TCN program. She's correct that if you're a TCN, a third country national, then it means the country you're leaving, you're not a citizen of, and the country you're going, then you're not a citizen of that country either. But there's a program. And then before the program, what you need to understand is that those TCN, those people who are not U.S. citizens and have been determined not to have reason for legitimate stay in the United States, they're being what? Deported. So it no matter what she's trying to split hairs and try to, well, TCN this and the TCN program is different. They're all deported people. Just get that in your cranium. They're all deportees. But see, what they tried to do is to tell you that we have not agreed to bring 10,000 criminals to Jamaica. The question should be asked. We're not talking about criminals. We're talking about people being deported from the United States. Is it true that up to 10,000 you're planning to have come to Jamaica? That is the question. Because they're killing you over there. They're beating you over there with this criminal. And all you need to do is just put that aside and say, is it true that you're bringing 10,000 people? Forget about their status. Criminals are upstanding members. First of all, they're being deported. Second thing is, you have agreed in principle to accept up to 10,000. And Minister Mark said she is moving forward with the implementation of that program. But then we see the Prime Minister saying, how could I do something like this? Because we have people in Jamaica not working, so how could I import labor? You will hear him say it.
That it was not. On the matter of the New York consulate, just to say that the building code issue was not in respect of the building in which we are located. It was a building close by. And it appears that those circumstances are being addressed, and our staff and all occupants of the building had actually re-entered within days after the evacuation. May have been 2 days after. So all is safe and sound there. In respect of the CVM question regarding Jamaicans in Japan, we are aware from the report of our embassy there that there are 18 persons who have lost their lives, but there are no Jamaicans reported as having been affected by it. UTEC's Google question.
No, that.
Right. Somebody had said, I do not usually share agreements between governments publicly. We share about the agreements, but we don't usually share actual documents. This is something that I would have to discuss with the U.S., which is the other party.
You see, when I tell you that the left doesn't know what the right is doing, you recall, my people, that the week before, when Minister Chang was there, he was specifically asked, will you release this MOU to the public? And his response was, it is a public document. Of course we're going to release it to the public. And now we hear this minister saying, no, we don't generally do that. We can talk about it, but we don't share it. People, on this Wagwana, Tom drunk. Tom drunk.
They're usually dealt with sensitively, which is why they're even not treated as the same as other agreements under the ATI. The agreement is not a unilateral Jamaican agreement where we do with as is requested. So I would have to discuss that with the United States as well as with within the government. And I think it's also important to recognize that the operational procedures are not settled.
So you have to ask yourself this. She's saying something different from Minister Chang. Remember I said Tom drunk? Reason I say that is because if you're going to say Chang drunk, then you leave out the but part. Chang drunk. Chang drunk. Tom drunk, but Tom no fool. Chang drunk. Period. Full stop. Exclamation mark. So now the question is, when will they? He promised it. He promised it. He said, yes, he will get the note. It's a public document and we can just share that with the public. And now she's saying, you can't share, which, to be frank, she's correct. She's correct. You don't do that. First of all, you have to get the permission, as I said before, of the other government, the government you're negotiating with. You have to get permission from them to share that document. And generally, they don't. You don't want to get into the habit of doing that. You can talk about the document, but you don't share the document, which means the document may have 10 things in it and you just talk about one, but nobody would know because they don't see it, they don't have it. Minister Chang.
As I said earlier, they relate back to the MOU, and I think what we would not want is further sensationalization of circumstances in which we are seeking to ensure the best protective approach to Jamaica and to Jamaicans, and the most effective management of the arrangement in place.
But we're sure this was said that they would be making it public. You guys were making it public.
Right, so I have been traveling. I will get updated. But in any event, if there was an assurance given, if it was, your question has presumed many facts.
The assurance was given. It not assume many facts. It was given. And just because you're traveling doesn't mean you don't get briefed. Come on, Minister. You know better than this. Tom drunk.
Which I question in your line of questioning a while ago. So I'm going to say that I will verify the language that was used, and I will also have that discussion with my colleagues. But they would be aware that as Foreign Minister, I do have a particular responsibility for the relationship with our partners, and that we will therefore have that discussion with them as well as with my cabinet colleagues. Yeah?
All right, Minister Grange.
In the interests of Jamaica and Jamaicans. Thank you.
That last piece is never necessary, because whatever the U.S. government wants from Jamaica, it is going to get, regardless of Jamaica's interest and regardless of the Jamaican people. And we know it. It is a bitter pill to swallow, but it is reality, people. Don't make them tell you otherwise. Jamaican, we're sovereign and we're independent. That's for when you deal with St. Kitts and Nevis and Barbuda and the rest of the countries them in the Caribbean, not when you deal with a superpower. And they know it. They know it. So here I know.
Well, I'm surprised that the question about the telethon in 2020 would be raised at this time, because I thought we had clarified everything. We raised $50 million through this virtual telethon titled Together We Stand. The telethon was virtual, and it was organized in a matter of days. I think most people are aware of that. We took days to organize this telethon, which normally it takes a year. And if it weren't for the support of the entertainment sector and the media, we could not have pulled it off. And we did indicate that the funds were being raised to provide protective gear for the responders to COVID, right? And we were able.
She said 50 million. That number does not sound right. That number, Patrick Beckford, I hope you watch the program, because you have a more definitive response concerning the amount of money that was collected from the telethon. The minister is saying it's 50 million. I don't know. I don't know about that. So Patrick, we have to talk. And let's find out from her now where the 50 million gone.
Able to get the National Health Fund to give us support and provide advance funding The funds raised would have been spent for the purpose that we indicate, protective gear. And so we were able to cover funds that were advanced because the need was urgent. And we have accounted for every cent.
Huh?
I can't give you exact details at this time because it's 2020. We did provide a media report, and I thought we had satisfied the questions. But I will provide you with the information again. I'll get the information, and we can make it available.
Watch, and say, this government has a habit of saying, you know, we will get to the information. And we know that little trick there. That trick is just for just kind of like just marginalize the question and the questioner by saying, yes, you're asking a question. That question should never have been asked, but that's fine. We will get the information to you as soon as possible. And then you never hear about it again. Watch. I'm willing to hazard a bet that Zara is not going to get that information regarding the money that was collected overseas from the COVID telethon. Zara, what I'm saying? Something about in vain and did a whole pastor. So you know me I talk about. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, Zara.
One thing I want to say, that I respect the media, and we can't do without the media. When we do things like these, it's a partnership. But we also have a responsibility, every single one of us, whatever profession we have, is that when we make an effort, and it's a good effort, we shouldn't shoot ourselves in the foot. And I really want to put that on the table. When we say negative things, or when we ask questions that give an impression, we're hurting ourselves. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right. We'll move that. Hear the foolishness. Hear the foolishness. All right. What I want to know is we haven't heard from this gentleman. See me, huh? Listen carefully.
Morning again, everybody. So we have finished the Canada leg, and we're now in the United States, where we'll be meeting with some more employers and also farm workers to discuss the issues relating to farm work here and to see how we can again improve for the benefit of our farm workers and the benefit of the program itself. Now, when we were in Canada, we had the opportunity to meet with government officials, ministers, deputy ministers.
Hold on a second now. I understand what's going on. The pussy out of your bag. I understand what's going on. This is the public official that's responsible for labor issues. Fix my glasses, yeah. This is the man who's responsible for labor issues. Not the foreign minister, not the minister of efficiency, innovation, and digital transformation, not the minister of education and subbing as information, not the prime minister, not the minister of national security and peace. None of those. This is the man responsible for labor issues in Jamaica. And the TCN program that they've been talking about is a labor program. The one that they want to bring up to 10,000 people. You remember what Audrey Marks said, Minister Marks said? She said, we're bringing them here to work. They're skilled labor. And yet, the Minister of Labor has nothing to do with skilled labor. And the Prime Minister said, yeah, we have examples of the structured migration program. We have the farm workers program. We have the hospitality program. And we're doing this. And nurses and blah, 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 blah. This is the man responsible. You notice, you hear nothing from him concerning that. But that is not the key. The key is this. Remember, Minister Mark said that she has engaged the U.S. government regarding the structured migration program. You hear what him just said? Him say, in Canada, we engage people at the ministerial level, government. But when we go to America, and he says, I'm in America now, who's he going to talk to? Employers, people. Employers. Employers. It's worth saying 3 times, so that you can understand that they're lying to you about this structured migration program, that you're talking to government about it. When this man come and say, yeah, I'm going to go be talking to employers. And guess what? That is exactly the way it's supposed to go in America. In Canada, it's different. Canada, you deal with the government officials. In the US, you don't. And if there's one person who should know this, 2 people should know this. 1, Ambassador Audrey Marks, and 2, this gentleman. This gentleman. Go back and listen to him.
Prove for the benefit of our farm workers and also farm workers to discuss the issues relating to farm work here and to see how we can again improve. Morning again, everybody. So we have finished the Canada leg and we're now in the United States, where we'll be meeting with some more employers and also farm workers to discuss the issues relating to farm work here and to see how we can again improve for the benefit of our farm workers and the benefit of the program itself. Now, when we were in Canada, we had the opportunity to meet with government officials, ministers, deputy ministers, Service Canada representatives, met with associations like Farms, that represents all of the Canadian farmers, WALI, the Western Agricultural Labour Initiative, as well as the British Columbia Fruit Growers Association and other stakeholders. And it was a very, very good, I'd say, series of meetings. We engaged our farm workers from farm to farm, engaged the employers, let them know how important they were, how valued they were, and ultimately we raised issues like health coverage, the costs of the health coverage for the farm workers, the areas like British Columbia where we know that the health inspections need to be reviewed, and other important intricate details around the terms and conditions relating to work and living conditions for the farm workers. The most important message is that we are collaborating and that we have all stakeholders have agreed that there needs to be continuous improvement. So we will sit down this year, November, in Jamaica. The annual review will be in Jamaica, where all stakeholders will come together. We'll go at the table, we'll go at it, making sure that we examine all of the various elements of the negotiations and the agreements between farm workers and employers to make sure that their welfare is maintained as a priority, and also to make sure that the business can be successful. Their success is our success. Our success is theirs. We also reiterated to farm workers that, listen, I want you to leave the door open. I want you to leave the door open for the many other Jamaicans that are coming. And leaving the door open means your conduct, your attitude, your work ethic has to be exemplary. The better you do is the more persons will say, well, I want additional persons from this country, not the other countries. It's a competitive process. And so that's something that we have all agreed. So again, just a quick update. I'm heading out now. I believe it's to Geba's farm and to a few other farms here. I'm in Brewster, and then tomorrow I head to Seattle. Again, we are just working with all of the stakeholders to make this program as strong and sustainable as it can be. One love.
So, he's meeting with employers in America. And the Honorable Minister Ambassador Audrey Marks says she's meeting with government officials to discuss this thing. Here's why them can't tell with them things there and get away with it. We should not let them get away with it. But here's why them do it. Here's why them do it.
Oh my God. And they're stupid. They are dunce Oh
They
my
are
God.
dark and they are stupid.
That's why them say all of this nonsense and expect that we won't be, because they think that we're not paying attention and they just come along with these beautiful words and beautiful flowing words, and we will just, whatever we can make out of it, we will make out of it. And that is a success. Whatever they tell us that it's successful. They never come to us and say, well, I feel, or this is not the way it's supposed to be done and we did it wrong. No, they never. This government is it's an amazing government. How many times have you heard them say, we lied to you, or yeah, you catch us, or yeah, we failed at that, and we're going to do better? How many times have you heard them say that? And believe me, people, believe me, they have made so many errors. They have made so many mistakes. They have done things deliberately. And they've told you, don't believe your lying eyes, don't believe your lying ears. And people do. People actually do. Move that from the OT, please. No. Let me get to... I want to show you... Oh, let me get to the Prime Minister one. Let me get to the Prime Minister one.
I know you're pressed for time and you want.
And hopefully the counter is working on this, folks. All right.
Have done it. I noticed he didn't say we should reject it. He said, well, it's just a pity it had to come out in this way. We should have come to the public before. But as anyone knows, and I've explained before, you can't come until you are finished with all the negotiations. Everything is signed and done. So though we have signed the MOU, it is not yet implemented. It's not complete because the operationalization is not complete. Now, as soon as that is done, then we would have called a press conference. We would have said, this is what he's doing. You believe that we could have done this in secret, a plane land with 25 people. It would be all over the news. So I find it, the panic around it is almost to the point of being ridiculous, honestly. And I see people, forgive me, Cliff, for cutting you off, but I see people WhatsApping me and sending me a message, why would we do this to our country? I said, please sit and think carefully about what you're saying. We're not doing anything that 28 other countries, including within this region, have done. The United States has asked countries that it considers its friends to assist them in managing their immigration challenges. Now, who are we as Jamaicans? Are we part of the global system? Are we a friend of the United States? Are we looking to the United States to assist with things? Do we only assist in exchange for something? Is the relationship always transactional? And these are questions that we have to start to ask ourselves. I urge Jamaicans to put away the notion of thinking about our relationships only in the prism of the 70s and 80s. Now is a different time. Jamaica is an independent country. Jamaica is a country that is part of a multilateral system. We are using our foreign policy for our economic and social
Mr. Prime Minister, the difficulty with that,
yes,
about sovereignty, is that you have in the President of the United States of America.
Let me go back somewhere.
Come to the public before. But as anyone knows, and I've explained before,
hold on.
Was our hands forced? Were we coerced? Absolutely not. And this is what I would wish my Jamaican people to appreciate. You have in me and in my government a prime minister and ministers who stand up for you, who seek to get the best deals for you. And I listen keenly to the...
Hold on, there's another part here. Hold on.
Not forthcoming, not quick enough to...
I've spoken about the need to bring labor into the country.
All right.
I have always...
Sita.
Program that is just under their Secrecy Act, so it can't be released. Others...
All right. What are you going to hear now? What are you going to hear now? Because remember, you've heard Audra Marks talk about this thing. It's going to happen. You're going to hear him say it's an idea. that is nothing serious. But more so, you're going to hear him say that we can't countenance that agreement because we have issues we have to deal with the unemployment in Jamaica. Listen to him.
They say, with the advice or the consent, this is released. The TCN, obviously, we would have had to come to the public and say, this is what we're doing. Unfortunately, it was, as you said, leaked and conflated with a program that is just the government thinking way in advance.
You hear that? You hear what he said? This program that they're talking about, structured migration, is something that the government is thinking about. And you will hear him say they're thinking about it because they're saying the unemployment rate is so low. It's 3.6. And when it gets to 2%, they're saying, what are we going to do? So they're looking forward. And they're saying, what are we going to do? And he said, it's just an idea.
So that when a crisis reaches us, right, we know what we're going to do. Now, just to be clear, I have been speaking about this for months, for years. And at every time I have spoken about the need to bring labor into the country, I have always said, we are not at the stage where we will import labor. And before we think about importing any labor, we must get the Jamaicans, the 50,000 who are unemployed, those who are unemployed, and the 300,000 that have not put themselves in the labor force, we must bring them in. I have been on record with
There's an argument, Mr.
Hear it there. Hear it there. The man said, we're not importing any labor. We're not bringing any labor until we take care of the people that we have here. And he went to statistics. So then, how did Minister Marks end up with fair thing? Did she go out on her own and did that? Hold on, let me see something. Let me see something. We'll go back to this. So we hear the Prime Minister say that structured migration is an idea. And we hear him say that he's not importing any labor in the country until him take care of that. Right? So now what we need to do now is jump on to this one here with this lady.
Couldn't have you rush off the previous panel and take us so much time.
6.
I originated the TCN. Now I'm good at some things, but I'm not that good that I could dictate U.S. policy. After 6 months of negotiation, and as both the Prime Minister and the Minister of National Security and Peace have explained, the TCN arrangement concerns persons transferred from the United States, transiting through Jamaica to their final destination. The United States would fund their stay, and the intake is limited to a maximum of 25 individuals every 2 weeks, and the stay is expected for 7.
She said, I wholly practice saying no. And I don't know if you not pay attention. But let me play this one, yeah? She said a lot right there. Where is it? Third country national.
Was requested. So the diplomatic note said that the United States has the further honor to advise and really request that a meeting to discuss the proposal by Minister Audrey Marks to XYZ during the America's Counter-Cartel Conference at the U.S. Southern Command in Miami, Florida on March 5th, 2026 for a third country national arrangement, not the MOU, that Jamaica will receive up to 10,000 third country individuals from the United States. What they were doing, they were asking.
Here she said, just follow me. Here she said, she make a distinction now, say it's a third country arrangement. She don't want to use the word deportation. It's a third country arrangement. Listen, people.
During the America's Counter-Cartel Conference at the U.S. Southern Command in Miami, Florida on March 5th, 2026 for a third country national arrangement, not the MOU, that Jamaica will receive up to 10,000 third country individuals from the United States. What they are doing.
All right, I'm going to go to this one now.
Maximum 14 days. And if more than 10 persons in any period request asylum in Jamaica, the program would be halted. So at any point, you're looking at a maximum exposure.
She get all her numbers wrong. We don't know how she succeed in her business, but that's fine. Here we go.
Till to be operationalized arrangement, not a program to bring criminals to Jamaica. So, I know you have heard it 3 times so far, but let me say it one more time for emphasis. The TCN MOU is from the United States to Jamaica and was transmitted through the usual diplomatic channels. It was handled in the appropriate Jamaican ministries, particularly the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Ministry of National Security and Peace. There is no informality about that arrangement. It is going to go through the process. So totally separate from that TCU discussion, I'm going back to the structured migration program for skilled professionals, which discussions with the United States representatives has started in January, February, March 2025. And I continued this discussion when I got the first opportunity when I went to a meeting in Miami in March 2026. On the margins, I spoke to some American officials and again remind them that this is a better long-term program for partner countries like Jamaica. When we are discussing the fight against cartels and against drugs and guns, we have to at the same time look at economic opportunities for our persons. And that was where I again spoke of at least 10,000 skilled workers that could come to Jamaica. The discussion.
10,000 skilled workers coming to Jamaica. Under the TCN, she called it TCN arrangement.
It was not at any point about importing 10,000 or accepting 10,000 deportees. It was.
You hear what you say? It was not about accepting 10,000 deportees. So how the people are going to reach Jamaica? How you going to get up to 10,000 people coming to Jamaica? How? Minister Chang said that, the average salary is 7,000 American dollars, and you want skilled workers to come to Jamaica to work for what? To work for what?
About the wider USA, Jamaica migration and economic partnership in the original embassy concept note. Now, I thank you, even though I came interrupting you, and thank you that you mentioned that I have been a diplomat for over 10 years, 12 years, and worked with different administrations. Many crises came up during that time, and most persons in the room don't know of it, because that's what diplomacy is about. We work in the background to prevent impact on Jamaica. We are not crazy. Certainly, I am not mad. I would not go to the United States to do any proposal for taking in 10,000 criminals. And what bothers me is that somehow they seem to have gained traction. But let me again say, everything that I work on is about building capacity in areas such as technology.
This lady, Shafar Rockers. Hold on, let me see something.
That a government working to secure communities, reduce crime, strengthen border security, and protect Jamaica's national interest would agree to any arrangement that would undermine these security gains. The TCN agreement must therefore be understood for what it is a limited, controlled, and still to be operationalized arrangement, not a program to bring criminals to Jamaica.
You call it TCN
So, I know.
So she said it's an arrangement. It's not a deportation program. All right, we could go to this. We did this already, but we need to go over it again. What is TPS? You heard about the recent Supreme Court decision in the US that says that millions of people, they have this temporary protected status, and the Supreme Court ruled that the first word in that status, temporary protected status, the first word is what they really should focus on. It's temporary, it's not permanent. Here's how it works. You have a humanitarian crisis in your country, and the American government was taking in people. And here it is. They're taking in people because of armed conflicts, natural disasters, extraordinary conditions. So, you land here and they say, okay, fine. And they give you what's called TPS, temporary protected status. And they say, okay, you can stay here in the US. You will be allowed to work. You will have to register every year, but it's not permanent. And it's not for everyone, only some countries, designated countries. That is temporary protected status. Now we know that they have over 350,000 Haitians in the United States that I think they just lost their status. And now they're getting ready to send these people out of the country. They are, for want of a better term, they are the low-hanging fruit right now. The people who had temporary protected status, like the Venezuelans, the Haitians, the Syrians, etc. They are the low-hanging fruit because it's been determined that they have to leave. The problem is that the issues that these people ran from in Haiti, those issues are still there. So if the US government is saying, well, we're getting rid of them, where do you think they're going to go? If they're going to put me in this TCN program, I'm going to Jamaica. Because I don't want to go to Eswatini. I want to go to Jamaica because when I get to Jamaica, I can walk around. The International Organization for Migration, they're going to give me money. I'm going to get shelter. I'm going to get food. I'm going to be living better than the people in St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, Trelawney. I'm going to be living better than those people. And what's going to happen up to 350,000 if 50,000 of them say, oh, I want to go to Jamaica? And the US government says to Jamaica, you're going to take these people. Now, all of these people, the fancy talk and, the veiled threats and all of this stuff, what do you think is going to happen when they're told you're going to take these people? You have no choice. You have to. Now, look at this. TPS. We talk about the benefits. They won't deport you while you're here. Temporary safety, legal employment, protects families, right? Here are some of the major events: hurricane, earthquakes, and here are some of the, from 2011 to 2020, they added these countries: South Sudan, Syria, Yemen, Nepal, Somalia. And then some other countries added: Venezuela, Afghanistan, Ukraine, Ethiopia. But there it is. It's temporary, and you have to renew every year. Legal uncertainty. So now let's get to this. If you understand this, definition, if you understand this definition, then you understand that everything that they're telling you about the TCN program, and they're telling you it's two different programs. There's one with an MOU, and there's one with a dip note, and there's one with 20 people every 25 people, whatever, every 2 weeks, and there's one with up to 10,000 people, skilled workers coming to work. You're going to be confused with all of that. But here's how you cut through the confusion. This question: what or who is a deportee? If you ask them that, you understand the whole thing right away. Deportee, a person who entered a country legally or illegally. Because remember, the TPS, temporary protected status people, a lot of them came in legally. They came and they were allowed to come in. They were processed and they came in. So they came in legally. Some people came in illegally. They crossed the border. It says a person who entered the country legally or illegally and is later removed. See that word, removed? Let me use Kevin color. See this? This? Whenever you see that word in U.S. immigration matters, it means deported. When you say removed, just substitute deported. It's a euphemistic way. Deported sounds harsh. When you say removed, sounds like, yeah, take away yourself, removed. He's removed. Either him take himself, we take him away. Fine, no problem. Just substitute deported right there. And you say, read the sentence. A person who entered the country legally or illegally and is later deported from that country by the government, usually to their home country. Not always, usually. Because with the TCN program, sometimes you end up in a third country, not your home country, because in some instances, you cannot go back to your home country. For a variety of reasons, you can't go back to your home country. If you understand this definition, then you understand everything that the government is trying to confuse you about. Because guess what? You see the program where they're telling you 20 or 25, can't remember the number, 20 or 25 coming every 2 weeks, and they're coming to transit through Jamaica to get to their home country or a third country, but they have the right to file for asylum and they can remain in Jamaica. You see that program? And you see the other one that you're talking about, 10,000 people coming. The main common denominator is not criminality. It's not whether they committed crimes. I mean, beyond, some of them committed immigration crimes, but beyond that, it's the main factor is not the commission of a crime. The main factor is deportation. They're all deported. Both of them. And then you hear Minister Chang get up and say, oh, no, they're not deported. They are, as far as I'm concerned, it's one program. And they're deported. If you understand that concept, that concept that no matter what you call them, and no matter what category you put them in, skilled workers, or you put them as criminals, no matter what you call, fact is, they're being removed from the United States. They are being deported. If you understand that, I've said it several times, but it's worth mentioning, my people. And that's why I've left it up there. You understand the definition of a deportee, then you understand the nonsense they're feeding you. Here it is now. Third country national. See this? In the context of TCN, what? Removals or deportation. A third remember Audrey Marks, Minister Marks said, "Oh, I googled it and it says you're not a citizen in the country where you are, and you're not a citizen in the country where you're going." Right? And that definition is generally accepted. But you have to put it in the context, and you have to understand the context. And see it right there? See it right there in the context of TCN removal / deportation. A third country national, the people that Audrey Marks would like you to believe that they're all upstanding, skilled workers, and they're just coming to Jamaica. They're not coming, they're being deported. Look at this. A third country national is what? A deportee. Right there. Who has a final order of removal. Removal is deportation. But they cannot be returned to their home country for whatever reason. Like the Haitians, they can't go back. You know, it's like a death sentence to send them home. Instead, the person is removed, there it is, to a third country that is not their country of citizenship or origin. So, the 350,000 Haitians that you're planning to remove, they could simply say, "I want to go to Jamaica." It's a third country. It's not the country of their citizenship or origin, and they can't go to Haiti. If you understand this, my people, and I know you do, then this issue is a very easy issue to slice and dice. If you understand this, what is a who's a deportee, and you understand this, a third country national, that's it. That's it. Because once you understand those two, then the question becomes, how can they, because you see, what they're telling you is that we're not bringing in 10,000 criminals, and people are focused on criminals. No, focus on people. Just ask them, just say, look, the people that you're planning to bring, we know they're God-fearing, upstanding, bastion of the community, good people. But are you planning to bring up to 10,000 of them to Jamaica? And the answer is yes. And then you dig a bit deeper. You say, okay, how do you know that they're not criminals? Because the American government says they're not criminals? How about if the American government doesn't know that some of these people are or aren't criminals? For example, when they catch somebody who's coming in through the border, you know, the illegal entry, and they have no traces on this person, they don't know. All they know is that this person is coming in illegally and we don't want this person here. This person is a third country national. This person is subject to deportation. And this person is telling us that he's or she's from a certain country and they can't go back. So now they have to go to a third country. And Jamaica is available. Jamaica is open for business. Send them there. How do you know? And they come out and tell you that they're going to verify. Verify what? Verify my foot? The Prime Minister can't get him statutory declaration to be verified. But they're going to verify people that come from outside and say them people are criminal. No. Reasons for TCN removals. There it is. Now, we could go right here now. See this? Overseas Employment Program. This is the structured migration that they talk about. And it's the Ministry of Labor and Social Security. And they partner with employers in Canada, US. And see this? They partner with who? Not the government, employers. So, Mr. Pernell Charles Jr., where have you been with this issue? Where have you been? There is low-skilled workers in Canada, hospitality workers in the USA, and we have seasonal agriculture farm worker. And here it is, the recruitment process for those people. Structured migration we're talking about now, people leaving Jamaica and going overseas to work. And if you go back and you see, say, low-skilled workers, that's farm workers, right? Then you have hospitality workers, and then you have the seasonal agricultural workers, which is still low-skilled workers right here. And here it is. They're selected precinct by members of parliament, which is an outrage. Because you can see where the politics can come into this, right? Because remember, he just went, Minister Pernell Charles, he just took 100 and something farm workers to Canada. You see what's going on. And they're pre-selected by members of parliament. But you have forms that you can get from all of these entities here. Here it is right now. It's a U.S. employer must sponsor the worker. So again, you're dealing with the Secretary of Labor, and we see them nowhere. Nowhere. And we talk about the H-2 visa. Here it is. USA employment by category. Minister Marks, I hope you're watching the program. Or if your family members or your friends, colleagues, associates watching, I hope they're taking notes and they can come to you and ask you these questions and ask you about these things that we're discussing, because apparently you're not well schooled in this, or maybe you are, but you try a thing. Either way, it's not good for Jamaica. See, in the US, the private sector, it's not the government. The private sector is the largest employer. 136 million people employed by private sector. The government sector now, they employ 20 to 25 million. Is the difference? 136 million, 20 to 25 million. That's not the case in Jamaica. Right? There you go. And when they say government employed, they're talking about not only the federal government, but they're talking about federal, state, local. 3 levels. And when they were talking about the U.S. government, their Minister Marks's vision of this is that she will go to the U.S. and the U.S. government, and the U.S. government will send them skilled workers. The U.S. government, no. Here are the skilled workers that the U.S. government sends overseas: military people, diplomatic people, and foreign aid people. They don't send skilled workers as she's describing them. They deport those people. Here it is. The U.S. government does not operate a program to supply labor workers to foreign countries. Plus, again, people, we have the Prime Minister saying, I don't want that. This is just an idea. And here it is in the U.S., private companies sometimes send their own employees overseas to work. Coca-Cola, Microsoft, U.S. Construction. So, listen. What time is it now? 10:10. OTL kill me. All of these things that you're telling you is just pure nonsense. Just pure nonsense. Let me just go back and just play a little piece of this one here. Where is it? With the Prime Minister. Where is it? OT. Hold on one second, folks. Let me see if I find it. Oh, here it is.
On labor issues, the United States and Jamaica have enjoyed an 80-year-old history relationship in terms of bilateral labor agreements, where we provide short-term skilled and semi-skilled labor in sectors such as agriculture and hospitality. We discussed ways to expand and enhance these agreements, including skills development partnerships to upskill and reskill Jamaican workers.
You hear that? So you might say, well, then, you know, hey, we have this program here, Mr. Secretary, and blah, 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 blah. Here's what the Secretary said about them program what we might talk about.
You mentioned upskilling and helping. How can we, it's a topic we hadn't touched on directly, extensively before. We talked about it today. We seek to go back and find ways that we can partner to create opportunities for skills training.
Man, boof him. The man said, you mentioned it today, but Minister Mark, this was March of last year. But Minister Mark said she had did this from January of last year. And here it is, the man who should know about it, the Secretary, him said, no. I hear about it today. And when we get back to Washington, we'll figure out a way how we can help you. But this upskilling and skilled worker program and all of the stuff you're talking about, outside of the farm workers and the hospitality workers, we don't know nothing about. No, sir. We don't know anything about that. Thank you, OT.
Yes.
That
Let me go back.
somehow your administration
This one
had been
158. Hold on.
not forthcoming.
158.
Operational details are still being
So
negotiated at this
how
time.
did that issue of
Right,
Minister Marks
so let me quickly
making it into
let me quickly
a
explain.
diplomatic note?
Let me quickly explain.
And you see, you're talking about a diplomatic note, but then there's also an MOU, people. And that is a part of the confusion. But just ignore that. That's a red herring. Just ignore the I've given you the difference between the and there's another document to a cable, but it's not relevant to our conversation here. What's relevant is the MOU and the diplomatic note. But don't be bothered by a conversation concerning those two documents. All you need to know is who is a deportee and what is the third country national program. That's all. Case closed. Who is a deportee? What is the third country national program? Boom. Nothing else. Everything else we hear is just noise. Boom, 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 boom. Pure noise. Because when them answer them two questions for you, you will be able to cut right through the nonsense.
When Minister Marks was ambassador to the United States, one of her jobs would have been to advise the government of likely changes in foreign policy and how those changes would impact Jamaica. In parallel to that, Jamaica was going through some changes ourselves. We, for the first time in our history, reached what economists call full employment. And we're practically at full employment. The last figure is 3.6% unemployed. 50,000 Jamaicans are unemployed. But within that are persons seeking jobs, persons who have changed jobs, structural unemployment, some of it. Now, we have had to be figuring out what do we do when we get to 2% unemployment. When we hear the calls coming in from construction, quick services, data sciences.
A lie. A lie, people. Industry doesn't go to the government and say, we need you to go to America or elsewhere and find labor and bring them here to us. No, that's not how it works. If you have a business, what do? You advertise. You don't go to the government and say, government, go find somebody for me. No. He's not telling you the truth. But you see, he has to say that because then that would make it plausible and that Minister Marks would go and ask the government. Because if nobody came to the Jamaican government saying that we need workers, then there would be no need for Minister Marks to then go to the US government and say, we need 50,000 people that you're deporting. We need 50,000 people to come here. So this is the position taken by Minister Marks, not to say the position taken by her, because you heard the Prime Minister say that it's just an idea. So the position taken by her is buttressed by his argument that people are coming to the government and asking the government to get workers. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. How many of those people have gone to the Prime Minister and said to him, Mr. Prime Minister, we need skilled workers being deported from the United States. We need them people that we need. How many of them have gone and mentioned that? And then think about these people. Did the Jamaican government engage other countries in this arrangement to say, send the skilled workers from your country to come to, have them come to Jamaica? Or was it only the United States? Did they ask the UK government and say, we want to, did the High Commissioner in the UK say, the Jamaican High Commissioner say to our counterparts over there, the people that you're going to get rid of, we want you to send them to Jamaica? Did the High Commissioner in Canada say the same thing? We don't hear about that. We only hear about the United States. This doesn't require much thought to see what's going on here.
Engineering, we just don't have the skills. So we have to think.
This is a slap to the face of the people running the tertiary educational systems in Jamaica. They say we don't have the skills, we don't have engineers, we don't have this. So the people them will leave UA and UTech with all of them big degrees there in engineering, in IT. They don't have the skills. Listen to what him say.
2% unemployment. When we hear the calls coming in from construction, quick services, data sciences, engineering, we just don't have the skills. So we have to think way in advance. How do we treat with this when we get to that point? So the issue of...
So the people them tell them say them don't have the Jamaican don't have the skill set. The Jamaican have no Jamaicans who can do this. So what about the people graduating from those universities? This don't make any sense. And him sit down and listen to the people and tell him this, and him not say to them, say, wait a minute, hold on a second now. We have been graduating a bunch of people in these disciplines. In fact, some of these people, they can't find jobs, so they end up at call centers. Him not see this and say to them, say, no, this is foolishness when they tell me that you can't find people here to work. We have people with engineering degrees answer phone in a call center. Why don't you take them? But you see, people, this is what happens when you don't listen. You hear, but you're not listening. You see, just like how you assess it with a critical mind, you must listen critically as well.
The U.S. change in policy to limit Jamaican migration sparked us to start to think,
It's nonsense. If they're limiting migration, they're not picking on Jamaica, sir. They're not picking on Jamaica. Stop telling the people lies, man.
We need to have a structured migration program. which is quite separate from the third country national program, which uses Jamaica as a transit point. So this is not even a policy. It is just the government thinking in advance.
So that is what...
You hear him say? It's not even a policy. This structured migration thing that Minister Marks is talking about. It's not even a policy. It's just thoughts. And she take the thoughts, the half-baked thoughts, and she they had meeting in December. They had a meeting in December. They don't want to tell you about that meeting in December. The same people she met with in December are the same people she going to meet with in March. She met with them in Jamaica in December 2025, and she met the same people in Florida in March 2026. So it's December 2025, March 2026, and they had conversations going during the time that they were apart. You see how the country are run, though. So the country are run. We're just thinking about it. It's not a policy. We haven't finalized anything, but we are going to engage the U.S. government and tell them, say, we want up to 10,000 people. And what did Audrey Marks say? Audrey Marks said, it is going to happen. It is going to happen. She said that. But just not the time for go look for the thing that I think I'll be right here. But I could just finish listening up to this gentleman here.
Ambassador Minister Marks would have shared with the Americans.
I think she would have shared with them a strategy of structured migration where Jamaicans could get to go to the United States, because my understanding of it is that Minister Marks attended an event in the United States on my behalf, an event sponsored by, I believe it was the Shield of the Americas, if I'm not mistaken. And she attended on my behalf, and she would have suggested that Jamaica is considering a structured migration program.
So, hear what I'm saying. She suggested in March. But she said, March of this year. But she said she's been suggesting this since January of 2025. Who she has suggested within January 2025? Who? She also said she had discussions with people in February and March of 2025. Who? And then Secretary Rubio was in Jamaica in March 2025 and said to the Prime Minister, I don't know nothing about this program that you're talking about. It's the same program that the one that Minister Mark's talking about, because guess what? The TCN, the 25 thing, it hadn't made news yet. The one with 20 or 25 people per 2 weeks. So she started from January of 2025. Him says she would have suggested it in March of 2026. You see, there's a disconnect here, people. Because him don't know what I'm going. I pretend like him don't know what I'm going. Because if she suggested it in January, February, March, and then we know that she suggested it again in December, then how come she has suggested it in March this year? Tom drunk. That is a question. Tom drunk. Tom drunk? That's a question. You know why? Because in all of these instances that I'm giving you tonight, Tom no drink. So when you even get to the part, but Tom drunk, but Tom no fool. When I get to that, it's Tom drunk? It's a question. And the answer is, Tom no drink. So if the idea is you can only get drunk by drinking, then Tom not drunk. People, the fool up time over. Fool up time over. Trish, you're right. Could not have initiated anything without his approval. Of course, she couldn't go go Doral in a march and go start talk about chat talk about. And you say it is my understanding that she would have suggested it. No. She tell you, man, because here's why, Mr. Prime Minister. She's not the person, she's one of your favorites, but she's not the person to deliver these kinds of messages and have these types of engagements. But guess what? She's working in your office now. So she closer to you. She was always close to you because we know about the women them who supported you, you know. We know about the women them who supported you. And she and Minister Johnson Smith and Minister Grange and Shahini, God bless her soul, and who else? And there's somebody else. But they supported you when you had your fights with Audley Shaw. They supported you. And so you've kept them close to you, but now you cross the line and you start show some deep-seated favoritism for Minister Marks. And you start take work from the foreign minister and start give it to Minister Marks. I don't know how she convinced you that she would be the best emissary for Jamaica. I don't know how that's possible. But you did. You allowed her to do it. And if you notice, people notice that she get quiet. You know, you're not more from her. Not more. But we can't make this be a 9-day wonder. Now, I'm hearing that this issue is a dead issue, that they're not going to do it because the Jamaican people is up in arms about it. But we will wait to see what is going to happen. Because if the American government insists that Jamaica must be a part of this program and must accept these people, things are come up to bump. Tom drunk? Tom no drink.
And I believe that may have been taken and rolled up and conflated.
Yeah.
So I suspect what was...
Remove that. This is a joke, people. This is a joke. Let me go back to this.
Asking for a meeting to discuss.
Let me see something. 1341 to 1444.
Third country nationals program.
So you were not involved in that negotiation?
Right. So a year later, January 2nd, 2026, is when the United States Embassy here transmitted a request to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to start a discussion, read their request for Jamaica.
So if them start that discussion, if them send that, Minister Marks, how you get involved in it, Minister Marks? It was sent to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. That is not your bailiwick. You are assigned to the office of the Prime Minister. You are the Minister of Efficiency, Innovation, and Digital Transformation. How you get mixed up in this, ma'am? How? You're too licky. You believe that just because you're ambassador and you know one and two people, you can work some magic and do this and do that. I'm not trying to make you know. So American policy, foreign policy work. That's how it work. America have no permanent allies are friends. They have interests. And you have outlived your usefulness to them. So you're just a pawn. You just run up and down like a chicken without its head. Not knowing the dangers, not knowing the perils. Minister Marks, you depend on the road and you go straight and you have to make left or right. Left or right, you have to make, and you go straight over the cliff with this TCN deal. You come 100 miles an hour. You have no intention to do a U-turn, but you're supposed to make left or right. And you know, slow down. The sign there way back the south said, stop sign, X amount distance ahead. And you don't see that because you want the glory. You want the accolade. You want to show up the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. Why? Because you wanted that job. You were pre-selected for that job. The only condition was that Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith was supposed to get the job with the Commonwealth, and then you would just slide into that position. It never worked out. But you're not happy with the job you have because you see yourself as the foreign minister. And now you're there close to the Prime Minister up at Jamaica House, and Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith is where? Port Royal Street, downtown. She has proximity to him, personal, on a personal level. You have proximity to him by phone. And you know how that go. Talking to somebody face to face is more effective than to talk to somebody over the phone. Especially if you like the person. And when I say like, people, don't get me wrong. I'm talking about like as a professional. Which power upon this? Let me see what she says.
Jamaica to sign an MOU to deal with third country nationals. It was the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, the Ministry of National Security and Peace, the Attorney General's Department, they're all, I think Ministry of Justice, they're all focused on making sure that Jamaica could sign the MOU, but in a manner that would not disturb what we are trying to achieve as a country.
Yeah. Is this skilled worker proposal that you had put forward still going to be implemented?
All right. All right. Now, remember what the Prime Minister said. This skilled worker program, this structured migration program, it's just something that we're thinking about. It's something that we're envisioning. It's something that we're tinkering with. It's more like a proposal that we're just discussing. He specifically said it is not a policy. He specifically said it is not a policy. So if it's something that he's just thinking about, and remember why he said he's thinking about it. Why? Because he wants to take care of the unemployed, the people who are outside the workforce and the underemployed. He wants to take care of them first. So the structured migration program where she's talking about, it's not going to happen. The conversation that you're watching right now between Giovanni and Minister Marks, and the conversation I just showed you between the Prime Minister and Cliff Hughes, those conversations took place, I would say, within a matter of days. Matter of days. No more than 2 weeks for those two conversations. So it's not like he was saying this last year, and then now she's saying something else. I know she's saying this 12 months later. It's within the same pocket of time that they're talking about the same issue. Remember, the Prime Minister said it's an idea. We're nowhere near doing anything with it because we have to take care of our people first. You hear the question in my Oscar? Play it again. Listen to the question.
So that you had put forward
making sure that Jamaica could sign the MOU, but in a manner that would not disturb what we are trying to achieve as a country.
Yeah. Is this skilled worker proposal that you had put forward still going to be implemented?
Oh, it still is. But
Hear that? Still is. Still is. So who do you believe? You believe the Prime Minister who said it's not going to happen because it's just an idea? Or you believe this lady who's not the Minister of Labour, who's not the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade? She should be ashamed of herself because there is no meritocracy in her appointment to the minister. There's no meritocracy there. Whenever they talk to you about becoming like Singapore, one of the principles that Singapore used extensively to get to where it is, meritocracy, the best people for the job. She, Minister Audrey Marks, is a square peg trying to fit in a round hole. She might be great at other things, but she's definitely incompetent in what she's doing right now. She's out of her league. She's not ready for prime time. She didn't study. She didn't read. She didn't retain. She didn't analyze. None of those things. She come up with this half-baked, lame-brain proposal and sold it to the leadership. And they allowed her to go out and create chaos. I mean, the thought is chaotic because people can't wrap their heads around it. People are having difficulty with it. And at some points, I don't even think she understands what she's saying. At some points, I really don't. I think there's something wrong. There's something woefully wrong with this lady. Because look what she sit down. Look at that. Look at that post. That tells you everything you need to know, you know. The minister is coming to have an interview and she sit down there with, first of all, the dress. But put that aside. The papers. Look at that. The papers. And then even with the papers, she can't explain herself. It's a pity. And remember what the Prime Minister said. Prime Minister said, one of the reasons for the increase in the salaries for parliamentarians to attract the best and the brightest. Jamaican people, I rest my case. Look at this lady. Look at everything she's done. And I rest my case. You'll be the judge. And she was fast-tracked, remember? She left, she demitted office, I think it was March 13th, thereabouts. And the next day she's in Jamaica being sworn in to the Senate. And then she got this job as the minister. Efficiency, innovation, and digital transformation. And up to now, we can't see what she do. And then she go fast in her people business and gone over there and over foreign affairs thing and start the foreign affairs stuff. And you see where she end up right now. I would give anything to have an interview with her. I would give anything for sit down in a Giovanni's seat. Because I'm telling you people, the questions I'm going to ask her, she cannot answer. Cannot answer. And when I say answer, yeah, she would blurt out some foolishness, but I'm talking about answer the question. Because the way I'm going to structure my questions, she can't stray. My questions are going to be very direct. And they must be narrow. So you know, no chance to roam and tell me ass dead and crow fat and no. But every time I listen, and believe me, I listen to all these interviews, I listen to them time and time and time again. And every time I listen to them, I get a nugget, at least one nugget from them. Because you can't just listen to one interview. You have to listen to all of them. You know, you have to listen to, where my man there? When there? Let me see now. When the OT. Oh, see me. You see me, man? This gentleman here.
As you asked him.
Hold on.
Okay.
Here, yeah.
Except Jamaicans.
Here, foolishness.
A privilege to speak to the trans TCN.
First of all, this man sound like him drunk. That's the first thing. Him slurring words them, and him just look too happy, you know. And we're talking about serious matters. And this man, them look flighty, and it's like, you know, something are going on with him, and you know, maybe it's the medication. I don't know. Maybe my drink. I don't know. But this man is not serious about these things. He's not prepared. He's not versed. He's not competent. Again, another square peg in our own hole. Medical doctor around national security. Listen to this.
To speak to the trans TCN, third country national that I passed through Jamaica, but it has been headlined a number of other features which I need to clarify before I speak, and I have to do the clarification and take the questions. First of all, Jamaica is not receiving any deportees from the United States, except Jamaicans.
Hear that? Jamaica is not receiving any deportees from the United States. So the 10,000 where Minister Marks are talking about, where TCNs, how them come to Jamaica? How? Except through deportation.
I repeat that. We have no agreement, no understanding to accept deportees from the United States.
So Minister Marks a lie then? Is that it? Minister Marks a lie? Because she said she's moving forward with her program to get 10,000 deportees. She didn't say. Where they make the distinction is that we're not getting criminals, but you're getting deportees. They can't hide from that. And listen to this one. Let me share this girl that we're asking this. All right, listen to this one. This is worth the price of admission.
We'll have to work with the International Organization for Migration to find the appropriate combination for them. Until that is done, we can't receive any.
Morning, Kimon Francis from the Gleaner. Just to clarify, the Gleaner at no point reported that 10,000 TCN illegal immigrants were coming to Jamaica.
No, not TCN,
at no point.
deportees.
At no point. Question.
No, don't confuse the thing. 10,000 deportees is different from 10,000 TCNs.
You hear that, people? 10,000 deportees is different from 10,000 TCNs. If he's referring to the TCNs coming from America, they're deportees. I don't know how much time we can say that for people to understand.
They're not deportees. They've been detained.
Yeah, they're not deportees. So them are who? Them are what?
They are doing transition to Jamaica, and they have to put in a comfortable place to stay.
So when them, this man, something not going on with him, man.
The MOU we were privy to that came from the US's embassy classified them as deportees.
You hear that? The MOU that we were privy to that came from the United States Embassy classified them as deportees. Boom. She shut him up. No, she said that the MOU that came from the US Embassy, you can interpret that several ways. The MOU could have been drafted by the US Embassy, but not sent from the US Embassy to the Gleaner. Could have been sent over to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and then somebody from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs sent it to the Gleaner. Because I tell you one thing I know, that the US Embassy component that's responsible for drafting that MOU, they don't have a direct line where mistakenly they send stuff to the Gleaner. They don't. They don't. But she shut him up, right, so.
Question, just seeking clarity. Did the U.S.
And
TCN illegal immigrants were coming to Jamaica?
No. Not TCN.
At no point.
Deportees.
At no point. Question.
No, don't confuse those, 10,000 deportees is different from 10,000 TCNs. They are not
MOU
deportees. They are not being detained. They are doing transition to Jamaica, and they are to put in a comfortable place to stay.
The MOU we were privy to that came from the U.S.'s embassy classified them as deportees.
Shut him up.
Right.
Question, just seeking clarity. Did the U.S. initiate contact with Jamaica?
Right. People, we have 12 minutes to go because I've gone over. OT, don't kill me. Don't kill me. I was just having way too much fun dealing with that serious subject. And when I say way too much fun, not the fun that, you saw that expression on the minister's face, not that kind of fun. Just fun in unearthing the material and presenting it to people so that they can understand. They can understand that this is not a complex issue. It's not a complex issue. Like the SSL issue where you have to follow the money and follow people and this and that. No. This one is a very simple issue. The definition. That's it. Definition of a deportee, definition of a third country national, and a definition of the third country national deportation program. You know those three? You're good. You're good. It's been a while since I haven't opened the phone line, and I promised OT that I would open it tonight, and I promised several of you that I would. But unfortunately, the subject matter overtook me. And we just chased the subject matter, so I in terms of trying to get you the information, so I didn't get to the phone. I'm hoping that we don't have to go back to this TCN matter this Saturday. But you never know. Jamaica is content rich. And we may come up with something between now and then that will force us to go back and do it, because there's so many issues. So many issues coming out of Jamaica on a weekly basis that it's just hard to keep track of everything. Hard. But we're doing our level best around here to bring the real story to you on all of these issues. Hopefully next week I'll be able to open the phone line. That's if we do a program next Wednesday, because I'll be honest with you, I've been extremely busy. I'm in court now. It's like it's going out of style. I have lots of deadlines. But you know what? I will continue to make the time to do what I'm doing, because it is my duty. It is my obligation. To educate and elevate my Jamaican people. And at the same time, while doing it, I'm educating myself, because a lot of things that I'm finding out because I didn't know. And so I bring it and I share it with you. And we welcome an open discussion about anything that we have presented. We welcome that. The Integrity Commission Initiative, that is a monster program. It's a monster program. just the sheer amount of material to go through. But you know what? It's something I've taken on, and I will not shirk that responsibility because I owe it to you, my people, to bring truth and clarity to you. And I've made you that promise. I've made myself that promise, and I'm going to fulfill it. I am. So this Saturday, we will start with that. We'll start the beginning of the beginning. Something like that we'll have. And then we're going to be looking at the 3 agencies that used to look at corruption and how they were distinct, separate, and apart. And it was Greg Christie who saw the need to bring about that amalgamation, to bring about that the collapsing of all 3 of them into one entity. And then Prime Minister after Prime Minister signed on to it. And there were discussions, and it's interesting when you read the discussions. And then the law was passed, and then the law is just it's a mess. And then we're going to be looking at the annual reports. We're going to be looking at, I think it's 12 or 14 cases. We're going to be looking at all the statements made. We're going to be looking at the oversight committee. We're going to be looking at the politicians, what they've said about the Integrity Commission. It's a monumental task, but I'm up to it. And so we will start this Saturday. And we'll take it easy as we go along. One of the things we're going to try and do is to make it simple so that anyone listening, watching, they'll be able to walk away knowing full well what was transmitted to them. And we're also going to show you the document. You know, we always have to show you the document. Because we don't want you to walk away and say, Rattigan did say this. We want to show you official documents. Oh, the diaspora conference. Oh, thanks, OT. We're there. Like this? Okay. You see this, people? Thank you so much, OT. Save the date, 2nd annual Northeast USA Jamaica Diaspora Conference. That's the one, the conference, the election they had this year. No, was it this year? No. Yeah, this year. They had the election. It was scheduled for last year and they moved it to this year. And they're having it in Philadelphia. I want you to keep in mind that your representative in the Northeast is Michelle Tolonil. I want, if you plan to go to this conference, I have a few things I'd like you to do. One is, I'd like you to ask her, where is the after action report from the one last year? What did they discuss? And the resolution, what issues affecting the diaspora Northeast did they discuss and the resolutions? Same thing for this year. Reason is, you voted for her. She must represent you. If you're telling me that she represents the Jamaican government, then it's a farce. It's foolishness. She got our votes. So she must represent. And she must represent not only the people who voted for her, but the people who voted for somebody else. Because she don't represent just that small number of people. She represents all the states within her portfolio for the Northeast. So we need to find out what was said, what was decided, what was done. And for this year, what will be done or what has taken place already. And then another thing that you need to find out from her, I will get her number and the email, the official email on the official number, because I don't want to bombard her with, her personal line with phone calls that she doesn't want to receive. But the reason is this. Many of you have called me about diaspora issues. And as much as I'm helping you, and as much as I'm trying to help you, I am not the diaspora representative. And I don't say that with any disdain. You know, I'm saying it just as a fact that there is a person in the Northeast who represents our interest, and we should all be going to her and asking her to provide assistance regarding our issues. So I will provide you, hopefully I can get it, I'll provide it with you on Saturday, and I will tell all of you, call her. She's a very agreeable, very available person. Call her and tell her what your problems are. Don't wait until October 23rd, 24th to tell her. Tell her no, so that she can start the preparation. She can start addressing your issues. You see that? From Maine all the way down to Virginia. She represents, if you're a Jamaican, she represents your interest. She does not represent the Jamaican government, even though the Jamaican government is running the show. The Jamaican government didn't vote for her. You voted for her. How you can vote for Smaddy and them not take care of your interests? How? Only reason you do that? And because of them think of you like this.
Oh my
God. Dark and they're stupid. They're dunce.
Oh
they're
my
dark and they're stupid.
Yeah. You would be dunce, dark, and stupid if you voted for her and then you just said, I vote for her, but she represents the government, so I'm not going to ask her to do anything for me. That's idiotic. So, people, want to thank all of you for joining me tonight. We were supposed to have Bill Tingling on. He's doing the thing on Saturday. We ask you to go out and support the march in Brooklyn. Hope you have a good time. We will be we'll be conducting classes on Saturday as usual. And there it is, Jamaica Rising Day Parade, Saturday, August the 8th, from 10 a.m. until you say when. They have a block party. They're going to go from Eastern Parkway, starting point Flatbush and Church Avenues, and they're going to go through the heart of Brooklyn. Don't know what that route is, but that's going to happen this Saturday. So we know we're going to lose some of you. Some of you won't be in class. You're excused. You're excused. That's fine. You don't have to bring a note. You go into this parade, you're excused. You can catch the class the day after, a couple of days after. We're fine with that. All right. So go support that initiative. And until then, big up on yourself. We're going to see you on Saturday, and we're going to have an outstanding class. We're going to have some material. We're going to just, bring your pen, bring your book, come take notes, because some of these things will be on the exam. All right. OT, lead way out. Where OT there? Look like I'm... It's low.
I saw him stay. We'll fight for the people every day. Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights. I saw him stay. How long them a gonna know say that them fire can't cool? How long them a gonna take our people for fool? Nah build no houses, them nah build no school. Think them up the handle, but of the most I rule. Them better stop criticizing. Cause what them a do now phase him. You know the man no lazy. All them a talk, them are the one right crazy. We'll fight for the people every day. Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. We'll fight for the people every day. Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. Say from him step up all eyes on him. I defend the people, them set spice on him. Even politicians spread lies on him. But we know the bug of them not wise like him. Back up, them no ties on him. Them know say that the people rely on him. You know said them bring out them Christ through him. That's why all the people them respect him. Just like Selassie and Marcus Garvey, the man hold the order of the Trinity. A real strong soldier in a army. No simpleton can disarm it. Them fight for the people every day. Risk them life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. Them fight for the people every day. Risk them life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. Them fight for the people every day. Risk them life for the people every day.
And look how Jamaica stay. No light, no road, no food pan we plate. People are suffer while Andrew a live great. You stand up on the platform, smile wide and proud. I tell we about prosperity, but we can't see it all now. Hurricane come through, I left the people here. 6 months later, them still out there, asleep under the air. Their JLP friends them build high rise, road still full of hope. A whose pocket you a fill, while the nation lose its soul. Hospital overflow, picnic can't get bed. School roof a leak, but you and Juliet well fed. You always have excuse, always pass the blame. Every time something wrong, it never go in your name. Jamaica a drown and you claim you're unclean. Biggest actor in a politics we ever see. Holness, time to go. Time to go. The people, we say no. 10 years and we can't take no more, you know hear us. We are not on the door. Holness, time to go. Time to go. From Kingston to Lebanon, the people say so. We tired, we hungry, we done with the show. Holness, that time we go. Farmer can't afford to plant food price reach the sky. You bring in the poverty while your own people cry. We born ya, we grow ya, we bleed for this land. But Andrew at the top out extending man. You talk about vision, you talk about plan. But 10 years later we still can't understand. Corruption report land and nobody charge. The people pocket small but the scandal them large. Who's crack up parish council bro? Country suffocate done and it just more. And when we raise the voice so call we political. But the truth is the truth and the truth is biblical. Holness, time to go. Time to go. The people, yes and no. We say no. 10 years and we can't take no more. You know hear us. We are not on the door. Holness, time to go. Time to go. From Kingston to Negri, the people say so. We tired, we hungry, we done with the show. Holness, our time to go. We no want no hype, we no want no speech. We want action, no, not the lies you preach. Hurricane victims still under tarpaulin. Prime Minister fly gone foreign. Your JLP cabinet full, but the people copy empty. Oh, you live so large when we live in so scanty. Not with fists, not with fire, but we voice them rising higher and higher. From every parish, every yard, every gate, Jamaica speaking and I'm not too late. Time to go, the people. We say no, 10 years and we can't take no more, you know hear us. We are not on the door. Time to go. From Kingston to Negri, the people say so. We tired, we hungry, we done with the show. Holness, our time to go. This one is for every Jamaican. We can't afford feet. We are sleep on cardboard. We are drive on broken road. The people don't forget. The people don't forgive. Enough is enough. Jamaicans will live.